Welcome back to the 1313 podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome back to all you Regs, to all you Shinies. Welcome to the podcast. This is the podcast. Please, before we begin, make sure that you're subscribed, like, comment, follow us on all our social media. Link down below. That is Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. Also, announcement. This 28th, when Jedi Survivor drops at midnight, I will be streaming on the Twitch. I'm going through the entire game. I'm putting it on story mode difficulty, so it's really easy, but I'm going through all of it so we can get the story. So if you're not getting the game, if you can't get the game now, but you don't want to get the game, it's spoiled, but you do want to see it in its entirety, hop in the stream. We're doing it live, so please make sure that you're following the Twitch. It is linked down below. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you're supporting us on Patreon. We really appreciate all of our patrons.
We have 3 tiers to our Patreon, and in our Clone Trooper tier, which is I think it's $2.99 a month. Yes. Is Delilah. Thank you, Delilah, for being our one and only Clone Trooper.
Yeah.
In our Grand Admiral tier, which is our $5 a month tier, and gives you access to our Otogunga private channel in the Discord, we have Landspeeder Luke, Stuck in Carbonite, and Jaros0315. And in our Gungan Boss tier, which is our 1313 tier a month, we have Hunter Schultz, our top donator, at $25 a month. Thank you, Hunter. We love you.
Keeping us afloat.
Thank you to Obi-Shan Kenobi, Commander Bly, Commander Cook, Your Casual Clone, Tall Guy 102, and Fig Fury 79. Thank you all, everyone who is a part of our Patreon. You guys help make the show possible. You guys help Jacob with his testosterone treatment to make himself big and strong. You guys help Jackson with his perm, and you guys help me buy new razors so I don't have cuts on my upper lip from a razor that had a roll in it. So, thank you guys. Don't use disposable razors because they have rolls in the blades sometimes. Mm-hmm. Oh well. Anyways, thank you all for donating and helping the cause. Mm-hmm. How's everybody's week?
Good. Chilling. I've been going through my
Happy Easter, y'all.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Happy late Easter.
Happy late Easter. He is risen.
Or Ramadan. Or Passover.
He is risen.
Yep.
I don't know what to say about the other two. But I've been going through a unit on Premiere right now.
I've been going through something.
I've been learning a lot of Premiere, so that'll be pretty neat.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am getting hit with my seasonal allergies, so I have a nice dry throat. So if my voice cracks while during this podcast, make sure to make fun of me for going through puberty in the comments.
It already has once.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Chilling. We have a month left of school, and that's all I'm trying to just ride on right now is just... It's going to suck for this month, and then it's not going to suck again.
Rhydon's a good Pokemon in Gen 1.
Yeah, you're right.
Rhydon is good.
So. Celebration, it happened. And if you want to hear all of our thoughts and the inside scoop from Celebration, make sure that you check out our Celebration episode, which is going to be coming out this Friday. Yes. So as of watching this, it's going to be tomorrow for y'all. We're going to be talking about every single reveal, everything from Celebration, and we're going to be having my good friend Connor Check, who was actually present at Star Wars Celebration. He's going to be sitting in with us, and we're just going to be talking about not only all the reveals and all the trailers and stuff, but we're going to be talking about his experience and how he felt with Celebration, because he got to meet some pretty cool people. But I'll let him tell you guys about that. But in the meantime, here's your little tidbits of movie news that I think are just really, really cool. HBO just showed off that they're combining their streaming service of HBO Max and Discovery Plus, and they're just going to be calling it Max now. And they revealed the trailer for The Penguin, a new series based off the saga of the Batman. So I'm super excited about that. And Peacock showed off a trailer for a new 3-part series called The Continental, a prequel to the John Wick franchise. So I am super excited for those.
Cool. And in Star Wars news, we have one piece of news, a very disappointing piece of news for many of us, is that the next Star Wars Celebration will be not 2024. It will be in 2025 in Japan.
So basically, if you guys want to see us at Star Wars Celebration making an absolutely awesome Japan vlog like Super Mega, make sure that you join the Patreon to send us to Japan.
This was really disappointing in my opinion. I really was hoping they would do like an American one because I'm cool if they want to do every other year international. That's fine, but like can we can we have another one in America? Which leads me to, I was talking to Jackson at work. My dad used to go to, so I think he went to Celebration 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, but basically a bunch of the celebrations before Disney bought Star Wars. And since Disney bought Star Wars, obviously it's a corporation, so Celebration has become much more corporate instead of being made by the fans for the fans. A lot of the way that Disney goes about it in America has been really heavily criticized, actually, by how corporate it is and how over the top it is. So I think, honestly, this is probably Lucasfilm and Disney taking things away from the States for a little bit to try and get away from some of that controversy. And then so when they come back to the States in like 2026 or 2027, they'll sell all their tickets again instead of not selling out their tickets.
I'm just really bummed because Jackson and I were talking this morning. We realized that the next celebration is going to be an anniversary for Revenge of the Sith.
I guess we'll just have to go.
So no, yeah, that's what I'm on right now. That's exactly what I'm on. So
I guess we'll just have to go.
So I seriously think we should because if we start planning now and we really look ahead and we start figuring out everything now and we start saving.
I agree.
Today, then it's a definite possibility that we'll be able to go.
No, I agree.
Yep.
I think we should really nose to the grindstone and actually try to do this because not only have I always wanted to go to Japan. Not because of the anime, but I just think I want to go to Celebration.
If we go that Hunter Schultz is going to have to come with us.
Yeah, of course. And we're going to sleep in the pod museum.
That's actually
hotels.
probably where I would sleep, to be honest.
Actually,
Gary's
For
gonna
the
be
experience of it.
wow.
Yeah.
There's probably cheaper places.
I would just stay in a normal hotel.
Nah, I want to be in the culture, bro.
I don't know. I don't think I could sleep like that. I feel like I would wake up in the night and be like, where am I? Where am I? What's going on? What's going on? And I would have a heart attack and then spaz out and die in my pod and nobody would hear me die.
You could feel like you're in a clone trooper barracks, though, on Camino, where they sleep in those
Yeah,
little
you're
pods.
right, you're right.
They sleep in those little pods.
That is
So
actually
I
pretty
said
funny.
to
And
her, you
I-
never even met a girl.
I said to her, baby, you and me could really... You've never even met a girl. Anyways, if you get that reference... yeah, actually, if you made it this far into the podcast and you made fun of me in the comments, I will do a giveaway.
What are you giving away?
Wow. What are you
Huh?
doing?
What are you giving away?
They don't know yet.
Spontaneous.
It's gonna be nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just trying to up the interaction on our podcast.
If you leave a comment, he'll give away his 2 front teeth. The top ones. The only
I'll
one.
give away one of my Higgs.
One of your Higgs?
Because he's got 2 Higgs.
I got 2 Higgs.
There's some dude, I've always meant to send it to you, and maybe I will one day. There's someone in Germany in the Clone Trooper building group who I follow whose last name, well, his name is Tommy, but then his last name is like almost your last name. It's almost like a German version of it. It's
Wow.
like Ichvig or something.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, guys, let's talk about The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 23. The Spy.
Thrawn! Okay, so here's my absolute nerd tidbit of the day. My Legends nerd tidbit. The guy that was bringing up Thrawn, not only did he have the patch that all the soldiers on the Chimera wear, but that was Captain Pelion from the Heir to the Empire books. That is Thrawn's captain, his right-hand man on the Chimera, and I heard his name, and I went, oh, it's the guy! My dad went, oh.
Yeah, that was my dad's reaction. I watched it with my dad and my brother this morning, and he some Pelion, and my dad was laying on the floor, and he just goes like this at me because I was sitting like behind him. He goes like snatched his head around. He goes, Pelion. I said, what? And he goes, that's from Heir to the Empire. And I went, yeah. So he was like, that's Thrawn's right hand man, but he's an admiral in the book. And I was like, okay.
So I like how me and your dad both were like, "Oh my gosh!" But I was taking the dogs out before we started watching it. And I was thinking to
Like you were
myself,
taking your socks off, or you were actually taking the dogs
a
out?
little bit of both.
Okay.
Fair enough,
And
fair
I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? It would make a lot of sense for them to hold off on any sort of anything about Thrawn being in the Mandalorian until the Ahsoka trailer came out. Right now would be the perfect time to do it. And at Star Wars Celebration, one of the people asked Giancarlo Esposito, they're like, what does Moff Gideon think of Thrawn? And basically, in short, he was like, he's not intimidated by ghosts and by shadows, and he might want to come in here and take all the power, but Gideon's been the one running everything, so he's not going to just let him walk all over him. And I sat there and I thought, when they asked Giancarlo what he knew about the Darksaber at the end of season 1, he went, I don't know, but I heard it's important. Because he had no idea. I was like, why is he so educated on this? I'm like, we're going to hear. So my prediction is for next episode, I think Thrawn's going to be introduced in the final episode of The Mandalorian to kind of welcome him into Ahsoka. So it's not just going to like where he come from.
I agree with you. I wonder, though, how he's going to get introduced. One of my theories about, and obviously we're talking about this way before we talk about the things that happen in this episode, but I have a theory that maybe Moff Gideon will try to escape Mandalore. Obviously, our main cast, our heroes, are going to take over this facility, hopefully, and Moff Gideon...
We still got another season coming.
Right. Moff Gideon will try to make an escape, and Thrawn will come in and eliminate him.
Eliminate everybody.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Maybe.
Or Thrawn will come in and basically be like, because I like to think in my mind that Thrawn's going to be an anti-hero and not a villain. Even though Dave Filoni likes to write him as a villain.
Because he is.
I would love to see Thrawn come in, take Moff Gideon, and then say, hey, Mandalorians, I respect you and your culture. So how about you guys give us the cloning technology that Moff Gideon is working on Mandalore, and we'll leave you guys alone, maybe, probably.
Fair enough.
Here's another thing I was talking to Jackson about this morning. So when Moff Gideon makes his grand entrance, and also, can we just, real quick, his armor's so cool.
Yup.
So
the,
cool.
The phase,
Dark Trooper armor?
Phase 4 Dark Trooper armor, he calls it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got that Iron Man sound effect going on.
Mm-hmm. But so when we see these Mandalorian stormtroopers, if you look real close, their helmets are like clone trooper visors with a T to it.
Yeah.
It has the clone trooper eyes, and he mentions he's like I'm gonna take the best of all that I've conquered, clones, Jedi, and the Mandalorians. We know that he's cloning in this facility. Do you think those are clones? Those Mandalorian fighters on the Empire, do you think they're actually clones in Beskar armor, and that would explain as to why their visors are like how they are?
It's a weird one because, like, to me, like, because I like that you called them what'd you call them? Imperial Mandalorians?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I was gonna call them Mandalorian, like, air quote super commandos, because they're definitely not as skilled as the actual Mandalorian super commandos.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're clones of Moff Gideon? Like, because I mean, they're not super well trained. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I would like that.
No, neither would I.
Mm-hmm. But I do think it would be cool if they were clones.
I definitely don't. I don't. It could be a clone of a person, but maybe not like the original, like Jango Fett clone.
No, I don't
think that would be possible. I think it's entertaining to think about the idea, but
I have a ton of notes. I need to pull out my notes.
And in the Heir of the Empire books, I just bought the final book. I'm listening to it now. I want to get it finished before Ahsoka drops. So if there's any connections to it whatsoever, I can get all of them. But there is that Deruith Sabayoth, which is the Dark Jedi in those books. He just mentioned in this first chapter that the Emperor had multiple samples from multiple people for cloning.
Right.
So it would make sense in this, especially what we're seeing in the Bad Batch of them trying to make this exceptional clone, that they're going to have different strands of DNA from different subjects for cloning, more than just the Tamir Morrison, the Jango Fett strand. Yeah. So it definitely is possible that it's a clones, but of somebody else.
So while we're on the topic of the Imperial stuff, I kind of want to stay on that topic before we move to all the sad things that happen.
All the boring stuff.
There's a lot of exciting
We open up on the episode on Coruscant, which I did not see coming, and with Elia Kane meeting with a Viper probe droid that projects a hologram. That's our reveal. Moff Gideon is alive. Oh my lord. You know, I didn't think he was going to make this kind of a casual entrance. Yeah. And then we see Moff Gideon, which we find out later in the episode, his base is on Mandalore. I never would have thought that in the early stage of the episode. And he meets with the circle of Imperial leaders. Jacob already talked about Captain Pelion was there. And Captain Hux's dad, or General Hux's dad, Commandant Hux. That, to me, was a super cool connection to The Force Awakens.
No, I thought I could tell that there was going to be some connection because I didn't hear the name, but when I was looking at it, I was like, kind of looks like Hux. Because tall guy, red hair, black trench coat.
And trench coat.
I was like, makes sense. So
Yeah.
no, that's a really cool connection. Yeah. Oh my gosh, did you see what Rex and Around tweeted about the Rey Skywalker movie coming out?
Yeah.
They're like, haha, all you guys thought that all this was gonna get retconned, and this is just another nail in the coffin, all you goofy goobers.
Yeah. He was reposting a lot of that too on Instagram, and I was talking about that with Tommy at work, how, again, it all serves to connect and make sense for the sequel trilogy. It's like how the Clone Wars worked for episode 2 and 3.
I didn't think I would like how interconnected the Mandoverse would be. But the fact that Moff Gideon is in the center of a circle of Imperial leaders who are all integral into the part of, they're just waiting for their king. Like their king on the chessboard. For Thrawn to come in and organize everything to happen. And obviously Moff Gideon wants to get in control of that power vacuum that has... I mean, in his eyes, Thrawn will not come back. But obviously to everyone else, it seems like Thrawn is very imminent.
I thought it was funny. It's like their little shadow council.
I do like that, yeah.
I thought it was a goofy name, but it was still like, it's
Shadow
interesting
Collective.
to see how it's working.
Now, another thing that was cool for me too was Moff Gideon talking to Hux about his cloning being different than Moff Gideon's cloning. We always assumed that Moff Gideon's cloning had something to do with the Emperor. I like now that the plot is much deeper than that. And we have, now there's the cloning that actually is for Palpatine, and there's Moff Gideon's cloning, which is for himself, it seems to be now. And I really, really like that Moff Gideon is a self-serving villain, and not just kind of like a...
Rooting for the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because although he's on the team, he's really only in it for himself.
Exactly, I love
They
that.
all kind of are, too, in their own ways, because they argue about that briefly.
And they talk about Project Necromancer.
Has it had any other reference before? Because that's where I tried looking it up on Wikipedia and found the connection to Hux.
Yeah, I think Project Necromancer is pretty obvious to be bringing Palpatine back to life.
And
And
that makes sense.
yeah. And then Gideon makes a request for Praetorian Guards. They get named. I didn't think they would be named in the show. That's awesome.
I was pretty hyped. And when we saw them at the end,
Yeah, definitely makes their appearance in The Last Jedi not like so random now, just because we now know like this is an established thing that is there, that it's an elite fighting force for protection.
Yeah, for sure.
and I like their helmets too. They were like, they had like a
The T-visor.
T. Well, not even like a T. It's like an old gladiator helmet.
Like a Greek helmet.
Yeah.
Because that was something we had leaked too before this even came out, was that there could be Mando Praetorian Guards, and there was the other leak too that we had as well, that Grogu may have a mech suit, and now that's a
Which
thing.
I know we hated on it. I don't know about you, Jacob, but I love it. I really liked it. I thought they did it so well.
I think they did it well. I still think it's so stupid. It's fun to watch, and I was like, but I'm still sitting there like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb, but it's a good dumb.
It's silly, and I hate
It's like
how
how
it only
Dumb
has
and Dumber.
yes and no.
I think
Because
that's awesome.
When Grogu started spamming yes when I was watching it the second time through, I was literally like, why did you do this?
But Din Djarin feels the same way.
That's
you know?
the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good dumb, like Dumb and Dumber dumb. Like it's funny, but I'm still like, oh my gosh, why?
I love that they renamed him IG-12, and Babu
New action figure.
Frick jumps out. Man, baby. No squeeze.
That was pretty funny.
That was so funny, dude. Oh man. But yeah, it was really cool to see the light cruiser has a giant mythosaur skull
Yeah,
painted on the underneath of it.
I was sitting there. I was thinking. I was like, I wonder how many gallons of paint and how long it took them.
What was that thing that ended up hitting the boat when they were on Mandalore? Because when I
Goofy new
rewatched
monster.
it, yeah,
Just,
because I was like, that just definitely isn't the mythosaur.
It's just an ankylosaurus, bro.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
What's that?
That's a dinosaur?
Oh, it was a velociraptor.
Yeah. Troodon.
Truth and Dawn.
But
It was a Bakugan?
But yeah, dude, I thought the IG-12 suit was done a lot better. I'm glad it wasn't just like and we need to team up and we have an upgrade for Grogu to fight. You know, it's like it's still very robotic, it's still very slow. Clearly it's not a fighting thing. It's just meant to help Grogu get around.
Yeah, I like that it isn't, because what I was talking to you about at work is that it's like Grogu's no longer like waddling around or using the Force to jump everywhere.
Yeah.
Now Grogu can move at the same speed of other people and maneuver around regular environments without size like impeding on that.
Or
So
without a hover pram.
yeah, it gets rid of just like the annoyance of like a moving disability, essentially.
Right. But yeah, and then we get the group meeting up on Navarro, the two tribes, and immediately tension.
I like that it wasn't just immediate, like, you suck! And they started slinging mud at each other. I like how the tension built until it was Axe Woves versus Paz.
You can't do that in chess. What do you mean by that?
Look at these primitives.
They're making up their own rules to the game now.
You serious?
Making it shape like a vibroblade.
Submit or fight.
I thought that in of itself was a bit silly, but I also really do not like Axe Woves that much as a character.
He's kind of a prick.
Yeah, he's really annoying, and it's just...
I think
Tommy
that's his
described
character,
it well
though.
when he said he's such a Mandalorian elitist, how all these people are of Mandalore, and you must be of Mandalore to be Mandalorian.
Well, we also get now confirmation that all of the Children of the Watch were on Concordia during the purge, so they were never affected.
Missed a
Whereas
spot.
all of Bo-Katan's night owls and all those guys were on the planet fighting. That was crazy to me. Which leads me to another thing. I thought it was cool, but I also thought it was weird that there were Mandalorians stranded on Mandalore.
Yeah.
That whole time, and Moff Gideon didn't kill them.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a huge planet.
Well,
and
they were
have
just
one
they
city.
said that they were migrating to stay alive, so they were moving around the entire time.
Right. Did anyone else...
Nomadic.
I thought the pirate ship was kind of on the nose. It was just like a pirate ship on skis.
I thought it was just
I
a
thought it was
goofy
fun.
ski boat. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was too bad.
Yeah.
One of the Mandalorians, too, that I pointed out is from Breaking Bad, and his name is Skinny Pete. It's like one of the really thinner dudes, and he's got like a really big shoulder plate with a cape and whatnot when
There's
they're like
only
swearing
three of
their
them.
allegiance. It's the one guy who's
We're aware, Jackson.
he's
There's only
white
three
and
of them.
skinny, Skinny Pete.
I thought that their designs though were sick. Those were some of the
yeah.
coolest Mandalorian armor designs I think I've ever seen.
The armor just gets better.
Yeah, it does. And it was cool that like they kind of rallied to Bo-Katan, and that made it hit a little harder when Bo-Katan kind of like reveals what actually happened all that time ago. And I think she feels like she's at fault. She feels like she isn't worthy to lead these people again.
And she's not.
I think
Truthfully,
Din
no.
Djarin is, and she is not. That's I'm going to
That's
continue
why she's
with
gonna
that.
die.
I agree with you. I think she's also going to die.
I don't want her to. I feel like that would be... We've already had to deal with Tech, and we've already had to deal with Paz. Please do not kill Bo-Katan. Please do not kill Katie Sackhoff. Please do not kill Space MILF Mommy. Please.
Space MILF on the shirt right now.
Buy her merch.
Mommy. Yeah, dude, I don't know. This was like when she explains that she just gave up the Darksaber to try and save the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I almost said a bad word. You moron.
We already
like,
did.
Like you really thought that the Empire was gonna show mercy? What is Palpatine's
desperate.
line to Darth Maul in the Clone Wars, bro?
There is no mercy.
Yep. Basically. We have the dialogue then between Din and Bo-Katan, which I
Great
think is really
conversation.
good. How it's like, to the Children of the Watch, the Darksaber is just a thing. And I feel like it meant more to Death Watch, who was very based in the tradition, but because Death Watch was disassembled and all these other people haven't seen the saber in forever, it's meaningless to them. So they care much more about the character of a person, where I would even argue that the Blood Mandalorians are still kind of set in a lot more of the traditional ways. Like, oh, whoever has the Darksaber then must lead. Where the Children of the Watch are kind of like, okay, I get it, the legends say that, but like, are you really fit to lead? Because he cares
Right.
more about the character and how she is as a person.
I think ultimately Din Djarin will be the one to have the Darksaber and lead Mandalore. I'm going to stick to that theory, which is why I don't think Din is going to die next episode.
No.
I think that
What,
In a
people
way.
think Din is gonna die?
I would not predict
people are
that.
worried about what's going to happen to Din in the next episode.
Dave Filoni did say that the Mandalorian is gonna go on, and that Din is not going to be the only main character anymore.
Yeah.
That
Really?
He's probably going to start to get pushed to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I feel like with this, it's going to be Bo-Katan either fights the Praetorian Guards and barely wins, and then Moff Gideon finishes her off, and then has the Darksaber, and Din fights him, but this time he kills him and gets the Darksaber, and then Bo-Katan in her dying wish tells Din Djarin, you were always the rightful ruler. Because if you think about, like, Din says, like, I have my sworn loyalty to you, and he walks away, we get that shot on Bo-Katan where it's just like really, really resting on her, watching Din Djarin. I think that from the beginning, she has had this feeling that Din Djarin is more worthy of the saber than she is, because Din Djarin is the epitome of what every Mandalorian should be. He is the most true in his faith to the Mandalorian creed. He is Mandalorian through and through. He accepts all Mandalorians, no matter what creed they follow or don't follow.
Now.
Not in season 2.
Season 2, he was a little bit elitist still.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? I think Din is destined to lead Mandalore.
Yeah, if they ever get back up and running.
Yeah,
Maybe.
if Din gets taken back from the debriefing room, whatever that is.
I feel like it's been a nice twist so far to us to see that Bo isn't the villain in the story, although it's made out to be that way in the trailer. I've kind of like completely separated myself from that idea just because I feel like there are no more ulterior motives after seeing how her character has
Right.
developed within the season. But at the same time, like, you have to look at the Star Wars formula of killing a character, talk about them a lot, develop them, show them off, and make people like them, kill them. So I feel like that's the treatment she's gotten this season. So that's why I'm like
but I
worried
also-
about it.
I think that too, but I also don't think it's been as strong. For Tech, I think it was a little bit on the nose. But I hope that this isn't just like the Dave Filoni formula, and he's like, oh, it worked a couple times, let me keep doing it, because then that just
I
gets
doubt
boring.
it.
Because then it's predictable, and then it's just kind of like, oh, they're gonna die.
Now, my
It's
other
like,
question.
It's like watching Scream. The first time you see a person on screen, you're like, they're gonna die, because that's just how it is. The first person always goes.
There you go. My question for you, do you think the Mandalorian fleet is toast?
Yes.
I don't.
I feel like
I think they are breaded and buttered already.
the light cruiser that they have might crash, but I feel like the whole fleet isn't going to blow up. Axe Woves got out, so they're not going to be completely like oblivious to the fact that something is going on.
Also, how's he gonna make it all the way up to the fleet? Is he just flying to a ship?
Probably.
How far away is the ship? Because they've been traveling on this pirate ship. Did he refuel?
I don't know.
Is he gonna make it halfway and go, I'm out of fuel?
I don't know.
I guess
I
we'll
think
figure it out
I think
tomorrow.
that because Axe Woves was able to get away, that holds some more meaning than just, oh, go get our friends, and then he dies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to be a lot more likely that he gets to get to the fleet, so the fleet is already on the move instead of being sitting ducks in space.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it would kind of suck too to have the awesome Mandalorian light cruiser that you have be completely destroyed and give it the Razor Crest treatment.
Well, I definitely think most of the fleet is going to get destroyed. But I
Probably.
really don't think that they're all going to just straight up die.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the armorer went up there. I feel like she's too important to the story. Now that we lost Paz, I don't think we'll lose the armorer right away.
Or maybe we will.
That Paz death scene, I saw some people were like sad about it. And I was just kind of like, I watched the Paz death scene. I was watching the Praetorians just whoop his ass. I was going, yeah, boy, get him, just because I was hyped to see Praetorians in action just absolutely clean the floor. I thought that was so badass.
Well,
but also I didn't think Paz.
You're canceled.
I didn't like Paz that much. I didn't like Paz.
See, I
guess Jon Favreau is out of the job. Oh no! They killed Jon Favreau.
I think with Paz's death, it was really, really nice that they gave him a warrior's death.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some people online being like, well, Paz could have just closed the door on the other side and gotten away. And I'm like, no, because then the Imperials would have just opened the door and chased them. Whoa, the camera's fuzzy. Whoa,
weird.
POV, your contacts are moving. Hey!
Get back here. Get
Come
back
back
here, camera. Okay.
That was whack.
Bad
Down,
camera.
boy.
There we
Down,
go.
boy.
I think for Paz, it's like he was stalling as long as he could so that everyone else had time to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Or else they would have just been getting chased forever.
Yeah.
So it was also really cool, though, that he didn't die to the Imperial Mandalorians. I'm really happy that he was able to actually fight and defeat them all. And granted, I knew those Praetorians were going to kill him, but it was a 3-on-1, and he was already injured from fighting.
And his
the
gun was
Imperial
broken.
Yeah, his gun like completely overheating.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Paz turned around and went, ain't no way I'm fitting in that hole. He said, y'all gotta cut another one.
Ain't no way.
Damn,
Was it you or me? No, it was you this time.
No, it was just Bit Fortuna took a dive.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baby went skipping.
Bad baby.
I'll hold on to him for now.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was there more that happened this episode?
There was a lot. Yeah, I have
there was
more
a
stuff,
lot, but I
too.
mean, because we talked about a bunch too, but I mean, I was only upset about Paz because it was just, in my opinion, it was an unexpected thing because I was just never like, oh, this dude is like destined to die in some way. And it was like, oh, now he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and again, it's like them finding the forge. What I was expecting, to be honest with you, was Moff Gideon requested the interceptors and the bombers, so they get into the forge, they find some cool thing, and then they find out, like, they're leaving the forge to go back.
I thought the fleet was just gonna get attacked.
And they see, I thought they were building up the tension. They kept showing shots of the armor going to the fleet, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
god,
all
it's
I was
gonna.
like,
I was like, the clouds are gonna break, and they're just gonna see the fireballs falling from the sky.
And then I thought, oh, she'll get into space, and then they'll all come out of hyperspace.
and then it'll be Thrawn. Oh.
I don't want to have like preset ideas for the next episode, but
No need
I'm
to
really
do that.
just like, please, just Thrawn. This one time, please.
So
That'd be so cool.
another thing I wanted to talk about was I liked watching the Mandalorians fight the Imperial Mandalorians and how ruthless they were in killing them.
When Din trips the guy and then shoots him in the back of the head like 7 times, just it's like, damn, bro.
Or like Casca Reeves has the one on the ground and she just stabs him in the neck with her vibro blade.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they got a full armor shell, and these guys, they have like how clone troopers have. They have their chest piece, and then they have an ab piece. So their torso is completely covered. Their only weak spots are here and in their neck. So
but Mandalorians are pretty open too, because you have the shoulder bells and the chest and the back, and then you have like a thigh plate maybe, and then a few things near the shin, but like
the vitals
it's
are
still
covered,
not
but
completely covered.
it's like you're not invincible.
I
These
mean,
guys
we
were almost
saw a
fully
lot of Mandalorians die
covered.
in this episode too.
Yeah.
Can I just say, when the pirate ship gets turned over and they all fly off it, that shot of just all of them scattering and landing, that was so
It
cool.
was dope.
It looks
I was
so
like,
cool.
dang, this is exactly what we wanted. All these Mandalorians in one place.
Mm-hmm. I like how we were all predicting that there was gonna be a Mando Civil War.
Yeah.
This season.
I don't remember that.
I just think it's so funny that for all of our Bad Batch predictions, we pretty much had everything right, and for Mando, we've had everything wrong.
Well, to be fair, if you think about it, Bad Batch is in between two pieces of a timeline that we are very familiar with. Mando is in this weird gap where we really don't know what happens next in the canon.
True.
You know? So with Bad Batch, and again, the clones are our favorite part of Star Wars. So like for us, it's like we are a lot more likely to get that stuff right than to get right what happened in Mando.
Yeah. Or even like for the fight scene between the two groups, what I thought was most interesting was how do you have a fight between two people wearing blaster-proof armor? So that's why I thought it was interesting that although the plates are being hit most of the time and it's digging off, they're aiming for the vital areas that are still exposed by not wearing the armor. Like when Din absolutely unloads in the back of that dude's head because his helmet is down and the whole back of his neck is exposed, or people stab the soft areas here or near the legs too.
I liked seeing Bo-Katan get shot, but like it's in the armor, because I like the fact that we see this multiple times that they don't have this plot armor of aim is bad, I never get hit. These people they're getting shot up. It's just they just happen to be wearing Beskar, so they're getting lucky and they're ricocheting. It's not like the trope of the heroes are always like they're just standing there, but everybody's always missing them. It's no, these are enemies that are skilled enough to hit their targets. You just you got a meat shield. You're just lucky.
It's it was cool too. Like, was it Bo-Katan that used her cable around the one dude's neck and just choked him out until he died?
Yeah,
that was
sick.
dope, dude. Yeah,
because that made me think about even like, although the Imperials have Beskar armor, they don't have all the nifty little tricks that the Mandalorians do, like the cables to wrap around Jedi or the flamethrowers as well.
Well, once they started chasing them into the tunnels, I knew something was wrong. And then once they turned the corner, and I was like, wait a minute, this background is
pretty
familiar
Imperial
to me. Wait a minute, this is Moff Gideon's base of operations?
This is Moff Gideon's base of operations. I'm sorry.
I told you, bro. I told you. Allergies.
Alligator.
Yeah, it was, I was like, I just had this like pit in my stomach, and I loved how they misled me. They made me think the fleet was going to get destroyed, but in fact, it was them that got screwed. You know what I mean? I thought Moff Gideon was going to make them watch their fleet get destroyed, like the Emperor would. But instead, he was like, no, I'm just going to kill you guys instead. It was awesome. And then, yeah, how about when... Jacob, I know this is something you noticed. When the Praetorians are stabbing Paz, you can hear his bones crunch in his flesh as they're going into him.
That's brutal.
And he puts his hand up on the one's shoulder, and it just kind of swipes his hand away.
And the thing that's probably the most brutal is, so when Paz gets stabbed back here by that longer blade, we've seen how that thing is like, it's ribbed and it breaks up into multiple different things and it's connected by energy. You know, if you've ever cut yourself like with a serrated knife, you know, like you feel every single one of those serrations. So you know he felt like ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk into his back, and then they just snapped his shoulder blade when he moved it, and then he just pulls it out. It was so brutal. Yeah. Granted, it's Star Wars, so there's no blood. They're all in armor. They're all fully clothed in non-blood soaked armor. So you missed the opportunity to make this a rated R film, is what I'm telling you. But
it almost looked like they stabbed through the Beskar too at one.
Oh my
point.
Gosh, yeah, they were.
Yeah, because I was like,
they're Beskar weapons, because the armor says that a Beskar spear can pierce Beskar armor.
You're right.
So that makes 100%. Does that mean that that would make sense as to why the lightsabers can't cut through the Praetorians' weapons in The Last Jedi?
Yep.
Boom! Dave Filoni, I'm gonna kiss you!
Yeah, dude, it was just...
Sequel retconners, mic drop.
When the sequels aren't getting retconned.
Oh, what am I gonna do? What is the Phantom Menace gonna make up now?
Nothing.
Our narrative of the last 7 years was wrong.
Sequel. Be like, what do you mean it's not retcon?
What do you mean they're developing it and it makes sense?
Retconners live reaction.
So I guess my other theory is, do you think Bo-Katan is going to ride the Mythosaur to help level the playing field?
I'll ride the Mythosaur.
I thought about that because they're definitely
But it's not the Mythosaur, it's just me.
Hey! I definitely did think about that in this episode at the end. I was like, she knows the Mythosaur is out there, and it was introduced already, so we know it's there.
Been mentioned like
so
4
I feel
times.
like it makes sense if it were to be brought back in. So I'm not gonna say it's impossible for it to be in the finale. I'm interested just to see how, because at the same time, I don't want it to be like, bam, it was mentioned and now here it is. But it would make sense if we got to see like how like you tame the Mythosaur. What's like in
Why do you
it.
keep saying Mythosaur?
Mythosaur, my bad. The Mythosaur is gonna literally be the Bendu for Gideon. He's gonna be like, I have my master plan, and then the Bendu shows up and goes, "Bah!"
Bonk.
Sky electricity! Ah!
Thrawn, what is that?
Thrawn, this is some shit I've never seen before. What is that? The sky. Thunder.
Yeah, dude.
There ain't no art of this.
Yeah, I think Bo is going to get the Mythosaur. I think that she is going to ride the Mythosaur, save Din Djarin. I think, actually,
And then the Mythosaur
what
will
if
go in the air.
Grogu saves Din Djarin?
Again?
Yeah.
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 What if Grogu died?
Give
What if
Grogu
Moff
a blaster,
Gideon-
bro, and do the...
I'm still going to hold on to my theory that Thrawn's going to show up and eat Grogu.
No.
Now this is a delicacy. Like, doesn't even cook him. Eats his jaw unhinges like a snake.
My excitement is literally just to hear that, like, we had talked about Thrawn last year when season 2 came out, and now it's just here.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the live action. He's going
Well,
to be in the show.
I was totally thrown away by how, like, openly, right away, Moff Gideon's like, something, Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I was like,
oh!
and you can tell in that ring, there's an open spot between Hux and Pelion.
Yeah.
That's totally where Thrawn is supposed to be. At the head of the council. Long live the Empire.
I'm so excited for next week. So
And-
excited for next week.
I really don't have much else to say except for rest in peace, Paz Vizsla.
Rest
This-
in piss, you won't be
This
missed.
was God
You're
tier
awful.
Star Wars. This was God tier Star
was really
Wars.
good.
The
This
whole
was
thing.
the best episode.
I literally was, after I watched the episode, I just sat on my seat for 10 minutes in silence. Just like, what did I just watch?
I wish I had that reaction. I didn't. I went, that was cool, and I got up.
I loved it so much because I watched it early. I went to my workout and I talked to all my friends that like watched The Mandalorian. I was like, you have to watch the episode like as soon as you're done here. And I was just sitting around and I was like, I'm going to watch it again. And then I had the same amount of excitement when I finished it again because I was like, I love The Mandalorian. I was like, this show is amazing. Like, it's just amazing. I love Star Wars in every way right now.
So let's all make our definitive predictions for each of us for what's going to happen in the season 3 finale of Mandalorian. Who wants to go first?
Deadass.
Thrawn is gonna show up at the very end. He's gonna be like, "I brought a friend," and then he's gonna open a bag, and then a orange tabby's gonna come out wearing a hat and boots, and he's gonna, "I am Puss in Boots," and then, no, I think Mando's gonna get tortured. They're gonna come back. They're gonna rescue Mando. They're gonna punch Moff Gideon in the face, and then Thrawn's gonna show up. And just before the Mandos win, Thrawn's gonna be like, "Let me show you how it's done," and then he's gonna annihilate them.
I'm just going to predict that Moff Gideon fails and tries to escape in some way, and then Thrawn just outs him entirely and just plucks him already because he was already all like, we don't need Thrawn. I'm running this show already. We don't need him.
I'm going to predict that Din Djarin is going to be rescued. Bo-Katan is going to ride the Mythosaur and die in the same episode.
Wow.
And the Darksaber is going to be lost to Moff Gideon once again. And Moff Gideon will get away with the Darksaber at the end of the season. And I also predict that Moff Gideon will inevitably escape. Thrawn will show up to deal with Moff Gideon. And I predict that Axe Woves will die and the Armorer will live, bringing back the fleet, and most of the fleet will be destroyed, and most of the Mandalorians will be killed. That is my set of predictions.
Okay.
Very cool.
I don't want to predict too much. I just want to do one thing.
Yeah, but I'm super excited for what we see next week. But if you made it all this way through the episode, thank you so much for sticking with us. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. We love each and every one of you and everything that you say because we like to read it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, you like this video, you join the Discord, you join the Patreon, follow us on all of our social media. Jedi Survivor stream, the 28th, it's coming up in 15 days. As of
That's
seeing it for
exciting.
you, it's 14. The countdown is real. I'm super excited. I am quite elated to play this game, and I hope you guys join me to see this playthrough because I'm super hyped. And knowing my track record, I'm probably not going to finish it in one sitting, but I want to. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
You guys, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Star Wars Celebration.
Mommy.
Dun 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 hum da da hum dum dum da hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum da ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba dum ba dum ba dum ba do ba dum ba do ba dum dum hum da dum hum da da hum dum 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 hum dum da dum hum da da hum dum da da hey I'm da dum da dum dum hum da dum da dum da dum dum da da ba da dum dum da ba ba da ba da da da